Hello, friends. Ever consider we may be in a state of malnutrition? The lack of wholesome meals are major contributing factors towards disease and behaviors, just like oil and gas to a working vehicle. Not to mention lifestyle are very real considerations. After 20 plus years of listening, surveying, observations, and hosting retreats, I interacted with many patients and their families. I myself was a patient, overcame 3 major health challenges. My experience and insights will help to equip you, my audience, to unpack and eliminate guessworks before you visit your doctors. Welcome to my show, Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life by way of 1 degree change. Hello, friends. I am so glad. Right after Christmas now, welcome back. And this is episode number 8. And I'm excited to remind everybody after the holidays, we really should understand and be aware of detoxing the body because we've been putting in so much good food. Some of them are not so good food, such as sugar. And today I want to talk about how to, when to, and why we need to detox. In previous sessions, I have talked about detoxing from lead, cadmium, arsenic. Some of them are in the food, but surprisingly, many of us don't realize it. Some of them are not from the food you put in. Guess what? I'm here to tell you all, look at all the things when we go to hotels, travel at different families' houses. They have these lotions and cream, and especially little children. I'm talking about 10 years old, 12-year-old girls especially, and even boys now. They put a lot of lotions, even cosmetic, skincare, and people slatter themselves with all kinds of lotions. I'm not going to be able to show the details of all the labels, hair gels, all that. Guess what? It get absorbed into our bodies. And so I just want to remind all of us, whatever you put on your skin, your hair, your body, your underarm, especially under the sole of your feet, it all has to do with what's in here. And it gets absorbed right into the bloodstream. And how do we know? Because it's very porous, our skin, our intestine, our microbiome, the gut, everything get absorbed in, good, bad, or even ugly. And you remember me talked a little bit about how nutrition can affect behaviors. And we are here today. I want to remind everybody we've been putting in, but we've not been rinsing it out. Do you remember I talk about your internal landscape, your gut, your brain? All of it goes in. And I have been reminding everybody what you put in is what helps sustain us. And we're talking about cellular wellness. Remember the book, Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life? That's my book. And come middle of January, we are going to start our Zoom online courses. And it would be so exciting to invite all of you to come and join me. I'm expecting as many as 20 people for 1 week, and then the next week, 50 people. And we may have to split it into different classes. And these classes are only 2 sessions. And then the first session is to summarize what we've been talking about real quickly. And then guess what? I'm going to open up for discussions, and we're going to give a chance on these Zoom classes for people to ask specific questions. Now, being I'm not a doctor with you and I don't understand your specific condition, but so many things come into play, and it's nice to hear what you are all thinking about, what questions that you have. Before we go any further, I want to remind us why I've been here on this platform. God has saved me, healed me, and medicine couldn't do anything. Remember, I had three major healing miracles. One was in the brain, one was in my lymph and going into my chest, and then another one was a serious, serious car accident. I'm alive today. The reason is to tell you all about how I made it. And like I said, I'm over 70 years old. And some people think I hit the jackpot. Truthfully, I didn't. I cannot say I hit the jackpot because it's not one and done. So, but it's a continuous 1 degree effort to keep ahead of the game because we naturally decline as we age. And down the road, I want to talk about stem cell, which is really what I'm excited about. But before that, let's hear a quick commercial and watch this. Hi, Dr. Mary Axness here. At age 72, I finally retired. And guess what? I wrote a book. It's called Optimize Wellness and Maximize Life. And you know what? God healed me from 3 major medical challenges. One of them was a serious brain concussion injury over 10 years ago. And the doctor said there's nothing they can do other than just sit on the porch and rock. That didn't sit well with me at all. So I do what I knew best to do, eat myself back to health, plus co-labor with God, and did a lot of study and understand how to feed the brain well and recover. Now I can say, order this book. I'm going to have classes over this too. And come along and grow young with me. Retirement is just a new chapter. I'm so glad you watched that commercial about how I receive continuous healing and upgrade in my brain function, my memory. I lost all memory. I couldn't even find people on my cell phone because back then our cell phone don't have a photo option. So if I don't remember the name, I cannot reach my friends. Is that something anyone even thought of? And not only that, it could lead to dementia, Alzheimer's, and even Parkinson's. I had mentioned previous episode, if you want to go back and look it up, dementia and Parkinson's and even Alzheimer is what they have in the medical realm. There is amyloid plaque, or they say, well, when you get old, that's just part of aging. Guess what? I dare to define that and redefine it. And now that you hear the commercial, the brain is very resilient and it's called neuroplasticity. And we can reverse many conditions provided we give it the right ingredients, the nutrients, the lifestyle, and the attitude. And that is so important. On my interview with the beautiful host and coach at the I Have Today, she asked me so many good questions. Some of them really reminded me what this is all about is the season of life we're in. And as women, we spent ourselves away without replenishing. It's more than self-care. It is about prevention and how we can slow down the decline and regenerate from the inside out. This is what this show is about on the practical term. Sometimes it's physical, but majority of the time, I have to say, is a thankful attitude. And we have talked every show about how to be thankful. And I will end that at every show. So be ready. Now, just a little preview. We're going to talk about one of the ways the body actually detox. Remember all the stuff we've been putting in when we're on the road, either driving, visiting family, or traveling to different countries. We come back sometimes with all kinds of bugs and parasitic infections. So prep yourself before you go and clear the blockage or the infection or what we call detox when you get back. And I do that all the time. When I say all the time, I do about 4 major detox a year. Literally, part of it is similar to a fasting because it gives your liver, your organ, your internal system a break. You know, a car cannot go forever when you don't change oil, when you don't clean up the engine, balancing the wheels, and it's not a one and done. So let's talk about again what we put in and also what we remove. Now, being is New Year time is coming up, we all have eaten a lot of good, bad, and ugly food. Let's be very, very honest. So part of detox is, let me tell you a couple of secrets. When you first think of detox, the most essential and foundational piece about detoxing is hydration. Your body is made up of almost 85 to 90% fluids. Where do you think these fluids are and where do they come from? It's called hydration, water. And if you can get reverse osmosis water, which is another word for filtering water, especially in the United States, the pipes, the water system, they have been aged and there's not a lot of quality maintenance. And we don't know the water that comes through the pipes and even in the house. There are times I know I have to rinse off the spigot when the water come out. I use the brush, an old toothbrush, dip it with some hydrogen peroxide. I talk about food grade hydrogen peroxide. This is a most valuable uh, food grade detox and cleanser. Now, we don't drink this, but guess what? I'll show you a little trick in a moment about how to utilize this in our fruits and vegetables. And when you go to the grocery store, remember, you bought grapes, cucumbers, um, pepper, especially grapes and vegetables. Oh my, they taste terrible because the stuff that they put in to prevent decay, they're not always good for our internal system. There are a lot of chemicals. They are covered with it. So 1 degree change is always soak your vegetable, whether it's mushroom, fresh ones, grapes, celery, uh, a tomato. If you cannot get organic, the best way to clean your vegetable, a lot of times they put wax over it to coat it to protect it from decay. A lot of chemicals on your vegetable. So therefore, I ask people, soak your fresh veggie in a tub or a big container of water, putting vinegar. I would say a sink full of water. After you rinse off the initial mud and dirt, put about a fourth of a cup of vinegar and let it sit, because as soon as you come back from the grocery store, the people touching it with their hand, picking different ones, and you bring them home. First thing is I put them in the sink, and then I fill the sink with water. Say you have some celery, cucumber, other than onions and garlic, you don't put in because you can peel them off, the coating. Uh, Carrots, especially, you soak it with a fourth cup. If you have a sink full or a tub basin full, soak it with white vinegar. It's very inexpensive. One fourth or one fifth of a cup is plenty. After that, you let the water drain. How long? Preferably at least an hour to an hour and a half. And sometimes I even soak them overnight if I come home late after work. Let it sit while you cook dinner. And guess what? I place a big sheet of towel right next to my sink, and I rinse the veggie real well, the sand, the dirt, and then stand them up somewhat so that they drain the water out. Then I let it drain for a few minutes. I put all the veggie back, rinse the sink, and you know the sink is full of dirt and soot and soil and God knows what else is in there. Vinegar is a good cleaner. Then I fill the sink one more time. This is my secret to cleaning your vegetable, because I eat a lot of them raw, like celery stick, which I'm going to talk more about. This is one of the best detox food. It's called cilantro, and I have them in my kitchen a lot. And what happened is I would chew on it. The flavor is just so refreshing and it wakes me up. And so, and sweet red onions, Vidalian onions. Ooh. So, what do I do after I fill the tub again, or the sink, or the basin? I add hydrogen peroxide. This, you can order it from your grocer, because you depends on what country you're in. Always remember this: 3% food grade. You only put about 5 or 10 drops in a 1 gallon water. So if you have 2 or 5 gallon, no more than 30 drops. You can use a little dropper or measure a small little capful in a couple gallon of water. Put all your veggie back in there. One of the best secret is, remember, cilantro, parsley, celery, and you can do this for fresh flowers too, and it keeps them longer, is to let it sit in a large cup of water. And let me show you. This is my bouquet of fresh cilantro. This cup of water, I only put about 3 or 4 drops of hydrogen peroxide. You see it? Oops. Food grade. And guess what? Many of you know that these vegetables, once you cut them from the stem, they don't stay fresh. Within a day, they will wilt. And if you put it in the refrigerator, if you forget to use it right that evening, it will turn bad. But if you put it in hydrogen peroxide water after you wash it with vinegar, this amount I use a whole week up to even 10 days. But you have to rinse the old water probably about by the third day, and it will keep fresh. Now, why do I talk about cilantro? Cilantro is one of the best detox vegetable, and I will show you a salad I made that I eat a lot, probably at least once or twice a week. So if you use this and chop it up and put it in salad, and what happened is this is my fresh salad. You see all the colorful vegetables I chopped up, red onions, you see, cucumbers, cilantro leaves, chop it up, and what else? I yellow pepper, red pepper, and this is so delicious. So what do you put in when you chop up whatever vegetable? Now, the other night, this is only about a day old, I put fresh mango in it to give it some special citrus flavor. You can put oranges and even apples in it. Now, after you chop them all up with cilantro leaves, and as far as how much is up to you. And I even chop the stems. And well, when I'm preparing my salad, I actually eat these because it's so good for you. And it's an internal detoxifier. Cilantro is one of the best food, as well as aloe. Aloe is a big plant and it has many usage. And I'll talk more about aloe. It's good for your hair, good for your skin, and you can use it and grind it up and put it with your salad. So what else do I put in here? Lemon juice, fresh lemon juice, and olive oil, salt and pepper to taste, and you can add whatever else to it. This is one of the best salad. Simple, easy, and if your children are not good about eating fresh salad, you can always add grapes, uh, orange slices, apple slices into it, and it makes it so yummy. Even children love it. They think it's sweet, and the natural sugar is really what our body needs, not the regular table sugar. And a lot of companies, they say it's cane sugar. To tell you the truth, many of them, the last few years, they are replacing it with uh, no more using real cane sugar. And I am not 100% sure this is the best. White sugar is not the best. High fructose corn syrup, actually, on the labels, if you cannot pronounce the name of the ingredient, chances are good it's a chemical that you would be horrified to know what it is. On top of it, food dye, yellow food dye, red food dye, it's already been proven it causes ADHD and so many more other unforeseen dis, de- deterioration factor to our health. So, all that is to say, you got your salad, you got your cilantro. One last thing before um, our season of flu and cold, I want to show a little uh, thing called the nebulizer, or is a for breathing. And why do I want to show you that?
Many people are either coughing with virus, and this is called a nebulizer. Here you go. You can get them at your drugstore. Go to your pharmacist and ask for a nebulizer. What happened is all you have to do, remember the hydrogen peroxide? It has many usage, and I will talk more about it. You put some filter water. Remember reverse osmosis water? You put it in. It doesn't take a lot, and you close the cap. It secures it, and you breathe through it, especially if you have an achy cough, uh, a little bit of dry sore throat. I had a sore throat that I lost my voice, and I could not record anything. And I actually felt good, and it didn't last a long time. But guess what? If you use no more than 3 drops of hydrogen peroxide, food grade now, 3%, guess what? This is all you need. And this is a very simple machine. You can travel with it, and children that have breathing problem or elderlies have congested chest, lungs, cough, dry cough. This is the best for it. And all you do is, and you can probably see it, and you see it, this, and you put it and breathe and let it fill your chest and breathe in deep. For people that are nasally congested or sinus infection, this is the best thing. And you'll be able to sleep well. And you don't have to do it long. For little children, they have children's size mask. It just hydrate. And you can put, there are clinics that will put oxygenate water or hydrogen peroxide water. And again, be careful how you use this. So there's a disclaimer here. These are just suggestions, and these are such simple little machine to have on hand. And I wish you well. And before we go, I wanted to make sure that we are grateful. Remember, attitude of gratefulness. Think of the last 24 hours, how God has protected us, that we have been spared. Thank you, God.